At least 4 people have been killed by falling trees as Hurricane Laura battered the U.S. state of Louisiana. Winds of up to 150 miles per hour, 240 kilometers per hour, caused severe damage, with power cuts to more than 500,000 homes and a chemical fire from an industrial plant. But the feared 20 feet 6 meters storm surge was avoided as the hurricane, the state's biggest, tracked further east. Laura has now been downgraded to tropical storm status as it heads to the Arkansas border. President Donald Trump was briefed at the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Fema, in Washington and said he would go to the area at the weekend. He said he had been prepared to postpone his speech at the Republican National Convention later on Thursday to travel to the region but added, "We got a bit lucky. It was very big and very powerful but it passed quickly." Laura and another storm, Marco, earlier swept across the Caribbean, killing 24 people. What's the latest from Louisiana? Governor John Bel Edwards gave a press briefing on Thursday afternoon, confirming 4 deaths so far from the hurricane. The victims, killed in separate incidents by trees falling on their homes, included a 14-year-old girl in the Leesville area. Mr. Edwards said that as rescue work continued, "I'm concerned we are going to find more fatalities. I hope and pray not." He said there was more structural damage from winds than anticipated, but the water damage was less than feared. The tracking of the storm slightly further east meant it avoided creating a storm surge in the shipping channel, he said. Power lines, roads and bridges were a big concern, he said, with many having to be repaired or checked. A barge had collided with a bridge in the city of Lake Charles, quite close to where a suspected chlorine chemical fire at an industrial plant was being attended by emergency services. Mr. Edwards said people should stay off the roads where possible, as outer bands of the storm were still causing high water levels and winds. Some 1,500 people, including National Guard troops, are being deployed in rescue and cleanup missions. Vice President Mike Pence, who joined Mr. Trump at Fema, said, "While this was a major storm with devastating impact, it was not as bad as it could have been." Where did Laura hit and what's its path? It was one of the strongest to ever hit the U.S. Gulf Coast, striking at Category 4 with winds of up to 150 miles per hour, 240 kilometers per hour. It made landfall shortly after midnight local time, 5 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, near the district of Cameron, in Louisiana. It tracked north, just east of the Texas-Louisiana border. Laura will track north across Louisiana on Thursday afternoon, with its center moving into Arkansas overnight. The National Hurricane Center still warns of high water levels along some parts of the Gulf Coast, and flooding rainfall and strong winds for northern Louisiana and southeastern Arkansas. More than 600,000 homes in Louisiana and 180,000 in Texas had lost power, according to the U.S. tracking site Power Outage. Lake Charles, a city of 78,000, and its surrounding areas were badly hit. Trees and electricity pylons have been ripped from the ground and vehicles overturned. Part of the roof of the Golden Nugget Casino flew off, a CNN-affiliated reporter witnessed, and an NWS radar installation was destroyed. A producer for the WSAZ News channel tweeted before and after images of the 22-story Capital One Tower. In sparks, just to the north, Rev. Carl Smith rode out the storm in his cellar. He told Reuters, "We just had trees thrown everywhere. It's a big mess." Ahead of the hurricane's arrival, more than 420,000 Texas residents were ordered to leave, while an additional 200,000 were told to evacuate Calcasieu Parish in southwestern Louisiana. The evacuations were complicated by the COVID-19 pandemic. One person headed to a Texas shelter, Eric Dorr, told Reuters, "They say we are all supposed to socially distance now. But how am I supposed to socially distance in a shelter? What other areas have suffered?" Haiti and the Dominican Republic were both earlier badly hit by storms Marco and Laura, with at least 24 fatalities and severe flooding. Thousands of homes were damaged and there were extensive power cuts. Cuba suffered material damage but did not record any deaths. In Jamaica, there were reports of landslides and flooded roads. The U.S. territory of Puerto Rico was also hit, with President Trump declaring a state of disaster last Saturday. Source: BBC News.